Hello?
Are you trying to farm me for content again?
Yes. So, hello everyone, welcome to Discord with the boys. Today's boys are Val and Lost.
You can't.
You didn't like that intro?
I'm not letting you do that.
That was a great intro, though.
That was stupid.
What?
You never call me to say, hi Val, how are you Val? How's your day going? It's like, I need content, I'm out of ideas, I've got to call somebody.
I'm never out of ideas, but it's not the only reason why I'm calling. I also wanted to extend my congratulations for your epic gamer achievement.
My 100 parries?
Yes, for those of you who don't know.
Oh my god.
Val here did a stream where he tried to get 100 parries in one go, right? But they only counted if he actually got the kill. Isn't that right, Val?
It is, yeah. If I died, I lost them.
And you took how long to get it done?
It's like 6 hours.
Yeah, that was a lot of hours, man. But it was impressive, though. I was even there for the last one. I saw it in your eyes.
So what do you reckon after seeing me do it? From your previous estimate of 30 minutes, what are you currently sat at?
28.
28. I'm gonna go through the VOD. I'm gonna mark down exactly how long I spent doing it, and I'm gonna challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make you eat those words.
How do you eat words, man?
You print them out and you eat them.
Yeah.
And I've done this.
Okay, well, you certainly had that answer ready to go, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I've eaten a lot of paper. To be fair with you, I really want that crepe. I don't care what you just said to me. I just want the crepe.
Yeah, I was at a crepe place. I got a barbecue crepe, and my wife got a ice cream and fruit plate crepe, and it was delicious, man.
Crepes in this country are only sweet. That looks incredible.
Yeah, I was either going with the Italian or the barbecue, but the barbecue had more interesting stuff. Next time I might go with the Italian, but I also really wanted to go with the ice cream and fruit stuff because it was so nice and fresh. It was lovely.
No, stick with what you have. I really want to fucking eat that, to be honest.
Now I have to edit that into the video, man.
Hey, yeah.
Are
you got to put the picture on screen, and you got to find it. Now you've got to do things.
Yeah, are you realizing that you're giving me more stuff to do?
I know, it sucks. I mean, imagine if a swarm of at least 15 clowns were to come panning across the screen right now. I mean, how hard would that be? Jeez.
All right, well, so I guess you wrote down your list. So what I really wanted to talk to you about was your top 10 favorite video games.
Top 10 favorite video games.
Yeah.
Do you want highest or lowest first?
Well, here's how I think we should do it, right? We should go from lowest to highest. You say your number 10, I say my number 10, and then we go onwards. And I have to tell you, man, this was hard for me, because I wrote down a list of 30 games.
Okay, well, my thought process was the first 10 games that come to mind are probably the ones I care about the most.
Yeah, that's not what I did. I really had like a mental session where I went into my heart and soul and just really thought about what really affected me as a child or as an adult, what really helped me through some dark times, what I had really fun with.
I wish you'd put this much effort into anything else.
Effort?
This is the most focused I've ever seen you.
Well, you know.
Man's got fucking, like, chemical symbols coming up on screen on your face. You know the one I'm on about.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's fine.
You've never seen it? The one with all the numbers and you're doing the big brain thing and you put all the chemical and all the
yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I got that. And he goes like,
okay.
Wow.
All right, Owen Wilson. This is the nicest top 10 I've ever seen in my life. Wow.
Just do your number 10.
Okay. I've got Crash Twinsanity.
Crash Twinsanity?
Yes.
Which console was that for?
PS2, Xbox, and like a bunch of other ones. I think it released on about 5 platforms.
Because I'll be honest, I never really touched a Crash game after the PlayStation 1. So what's so good about this thing?
The entire soundtrack is a cappella. I used it for a video I made for you. You remember Top 10 Toilets?
I do remember Top 10 Toilets. How
Yeah,
can we
I
not?
used the soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's a great game.
It,
It's one of the more fun ones of all time.
it's very good. It's just a fun factor then.
And it's a cappella.
And it's like, well, okay, I didn't know that the soundtrack would carry one of your games to top 10, but all right. My number 10 would be Halo 3.
I wanted to put Halo 3.
Yeah, well, it was either Halo 1 or it was going to be Halo 3. I had a lot of fun with Halo 1, especially at LAN parties and all of that stuff, but Halo 3 was the first time I really got into, like, prolonged sessions of online play with a bunch of people. And, I even made it to the uppermost rank of free-for-all in PvP. That was kind of impressive.
I mean, I used to do a lot of the Forge maps. So I kind of thought Halo 3, but really Halo Reach was what I liked. But it was only for Forge. I used to love custom maps.
Custom maps were so good. Oh, Halo 3, that was the first time I actually uploaded anything to YouTube.
Really?
It's a video of me exploding an elite, right? And he does that little cartwheel in the air, and he lands on a fence with each leg in between, so he like crushes his. I assume they have a penis.
His elite balls.
His elite balls are crushed, and he makes that noise that they make, and that was so funny to me. Alien getting hit in the balls. What's not to love?
That was also in your video that I made for you. This is strange now.
We
did a little cutaway, didn't we?
You're number 9.
Little Nightmares 2.
Really? Didn't you just play that?
No, I played the first one. But the second one is so much creepier.
It really is.
It's charming. The characters have a lot of character appeal, and I think the atmosphere is just incredible. I really like it.
It tells a story without really saying much. It's all, show, really, isn't it?
It's like they took a concept and ran with it. It's like all the characters are kind of animated in like a stop motion affair, so they're quite low frame rate. So it really sells the creepiness of it.
And there's so many details in that. I remember the first one, the second one. The first one is pretty good. The second one is simply great.
And the third one I'm hoping is even better. What about you? What's your number 9?
Advance Wars 1.
Advanced Wars 1?
Yeah. Advance Wars just had a remake come out on the Switch. But Advance Wars 1 was on the Game Boy Advanced. It's a turn-based strategy game where you have like a grid layout of squares, and you move your soldiers and your tanks to different positions, and you have direct units and indirect units like rockets that can fire at people from a distance, but they can't do anything if people are close up to them. And it was an amazing game with a lot of content. The campaign was great, and there was countless of hours that you could play against a computer or a friend, and you could play with all of your friends because it was a turn-based game, so you just sent the Game Boy to your buddies.
And what about the remake? What do you think of that?
So the remake is very what's the word I'm looking for? Faithful to the original games. Now they went away from the pixels and they went into more of a toy box situation, which I don't dislike in principle, but I just felt like the soldiers could be a little bit more professional because they're a little wobbly and they're a little bit too much like toys. I wanted them to be
wobbly soldiers.
Yeah, those green army men.
Yeah, the Toy Story ones.
Yeah, those guys, they were like serious soldiers. That was cool. I feel like they took a little bit of the coolness factor out of it. But that being said, I have come around to it a little bit, and it's a pretty faithful remake of both the first and the second game. I put the first game on here, even though the second game is arguably a lot better due to balancing and more COs, commanding officers with special powers and all of that. But I thought it was... it just holds more nostalgia for me, really.
Toy Story, when they were doing the army men to try and figure out how they moved, they strapped planks of wood to their shoes.
Yeah, I saw that recently, actually.
Imagine that. Imagine the health and safety nightmare that to come from. We've lost 15 men to this animation.
You know, if we ever actually get to live close to each other, then
We're not doing that.
we are definitely getting a studio and just fucking doing stupid shit like that all the time. I'll be like 50, you'll be like 18 or whatever, how old you are now. And
yeah, I was going to say, when you started talking about the GBA, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, what dinosaur age tech is this?
yeah.
I remember my Game Boy Advance when I was 8 years old.
How old are you now? Let's get this into perspective.
I'm 28.
Yeah, I'm 35, so I have a good 7 years on your ass.
I thought you were going to say a good 7 years left.
I'm not planning on dying quite so soon. But I'm guessing I will have more older games.
Ripe old age of 42.
But not that many, actually. I think there's only one other game that will be considered slightly older. But you know what? You're up next. Number 8.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, that's a game that I forgot to put on my list.
It's on my list.
Well,
old man.
Tell me, why is this such a good game?
Because it's simplicity. It's just, it is a very, it's kind of a game reduced to its basic concept. There is nothing else but the Colossi. And I just respect the kind of, just how refined it is and how much fluff has been cut out of it. It's just an experience you can play, you unwind, there's no filler, there's no fluff, there's no achievements, there's no skill ceiling in that kind of essence. It's just, you play it and that's what it is. And I kind of respect it.
It is one of the purest games as art I think I've ever played. I can't say it better than that. So I'm just gonna move on to my next one. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. That,
Ooh.
yeah, man. I didn't go with Skyrim because one of the rules that we have here, which I didn't mention in
yeah, which I have to ask you about 7 questions to find out.
Yeah. I made a mistake there. I didn't tell you until the very end, and I didn't tell anybody who were listening to this yet. We only allow one franchise per slot. So
I want to speak to the audience.
Yeah.
If you're confused, so am I.
This is fine. So
this is normal.
The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Skyrim is arguably better. They have a better visuals, right? Not just because of its higher fidelity, but also just from a art point of view. But there's something about the world of Oblivion and the stupidity of it and the actors that just hit me at some point. And it was amazing. I loved doing all of the good stuff. I had a character for the Assassin's Club, or the Dark Brotherhood. That sounds a little better than the Assassin's Club.
Join the Assassin's Club.
Yeah.
Sounds very professional.
I did a Fighters Guild, I did a Mage stuff, and I did all of it. And the Thieves Guild, man, sneaking into the palace to steal an Elder Scroll, that is just such a heist, man. Such a heist.
Does this man mean anything to you then? Because I've played Oblivion. My experience of it was very bad.
I have no idea who that guy is, and now
he just came up.
Now I have to edit that in as well.
I love this. I'm making you work.
Oh yeah, I hate you so much right now.
I thought the leveling system was confusing as shit because when I played it,
yep,
I got into it. I leveled up about 3 times almost after getting out of the sewers.
Yeah.
And then I got killed by Slaughterfish. That too shot me.
Yeah.
Because nowhere did it tell me that when I level up, so too does everything around me.
Yeah.
And I never played it again.
I mean, that happened, and that's true. And there's a lot of jank, and there's a lot of caves that have absolutely nothing in it, and no story whatsoever, which they have been much better with in the sequels. But Oblivion was my first real experience with what I want to call a open world game, really. Nothing else came close to it at that point in time. And because of that, it's my number 8.
I had loved that leveling feature. I just, no other game's done anything like it. It was a nice trade-off for getting more powerful. I just wish they explained it to me before I got slaughtered by fish.
Slaughterfish. Oh, I see what you did there.
That was accidental.
Oh, you should just say thank you and move on.
You want my next one?
Yeah.
Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
Oh, that's on my... Look, that's not on my top 10, but that's probably 11 or 12.
Oh, come on. When have you ever seen such a setting in a game?
Never.
It's great. It was the origins of Assassin's Creed, and it's where the franchise should have probably stopped.
Yeah, probably, because now it's just really this emaciated cow, right? But the Prince of Persia Sands of Time, everything that you could do in that game just blew me away as a kid.
Well, he's even down to the simplicity. I mean, it had a great plot as well, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
And the zombies used to freak me out, even though they're not zombies, they're just sand people. But it kind of scared me when I was a kid.
Don't be racist here.
I'm not being, what is a sand person? It's a person physically filled with sand.
Well, that's also
It's like calling a bag of flour. Like, I don't know.
Sand people is a derogatory term for the people in the Middle East.
But it's not in this instance, is it? They're literally made of sand. Arsehole.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Your favorite part of it?
Oh God. Do you know, in all honesty, probably when you get the dagger. Because I think trying to get to it was a really nice, like, here's the thing you need to get, and then you have to go through all these trials and tribulations to just even touch it. And I think that was probably the highlight, and then it just kind of sustained that level from there.
Yeah. The scope of this game towards the end when you're climbing up to get to the final area, that was amazing. And there's a lot of small moments as well. For example, the palace is filled with traps, right? And the thing is, you are the one who's activating these traps because it's the palace defense mechanism. You get into this room and you talk to this guard and he's like, yo, help me turn this thing on. And you do, because you have to do that to progress. And then you turn on all of the traps in the castle and then the guard gets killed. So you are responsible for all of your tribulations up until that point.
It's a prince, you're fine.
Well, true, although you are invading this castle as the prince, you know.
Yeah, but you're a prince. It's fine.
Okay. Another really cool feature of this game is that the game is being framed as a story, because the prince is the one telling the story to the princess, I believe.
Oh my God, that's my favorite part, is when you die, and I still quote it to this day, where he goes, no, that's not right.
Yeah, I know, man. Oh, that was so amazing. And I had it on the GameCube, and that specific voice line was borked. It was super, like, staticky and shit.
Compressed.
Yeah, it was. And
No, that's not right.
It's not that far away, dude.
Oh my God.
And I bought it recently on the Steam sale because it was like $1. And I love that game. I love it.
I need to play it soon, actually.
My next game on the list is Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, yes, okay.
The original Luigi's Mansion was just such a, I want to say, a cozy masterpiece. It was amazing, and you got to vacuum up these ghosts, all of the secrets, all of the money, all of the gems that you get. I don't know, man. I love
it had
horror
that
games.
Spyro affair, didn't it?
Yeah.
The collectathon kind of, like, uncovering all the secrets and going back as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I played it with Shannon, yeah. It was really good.
It was fantastic. There's not really that much more to say other than the game it has such a unique feeling. Every room is different. It sustains its fun elements of fun all the way till the end of the game, and when it ends perfectly, and you're just happy about it.
Yeah, like, it knows not to overstep its welcome.
Absolutely.
It also spawned the Muscle Men fan art, which I just sent you, which, again, is something else you've got to put in now. Or edit around. I like making your life hard.
Your next one, please.
You can't. um, well, I'm a bit hesitant to say this one, but Bionicle, the PS2 game.
You played that on stream.
I did.
Did you play it before on stream? Before you played it on stream?
I did. Once. And do you know what? I never got past Tahu's level, which is the first level in the game. And I'll tell you what, it's so diverse, so colourful, and so fun, and it's only 2.5 hours long. But my God, is it good?
I feel like I should also tell everybody that this is not necessarily a list of the best games. This is a list of our favorites.
Is that a fucking passive insult?
Yes.
I need to remind everybody that Val's choice here is not based on the best games, but his favorite games. That's indirectly calling him.
No. I'm calling a game you like shit. I know that you have the brain power to come up with a better list of a list of quote unquote better games, but this is not what it's about. It's about, just the pure fun factor of it. And I was there when you were streaming it, and we played, what was it? Running in the 90s?
Yes, Eurobeat,
when you were coasting through, a minecart section or something, and it ended perfectly, and everybody cheered.
And everybody clapped.
Yeah, well, and this is true in this instance, because I clapped.
What, just sat alone in your office, quietly, just going, love that.
Yeah, I did.
It's good, you should try it, it's good.
Probably won't do that, but...
No, you won't.
No.
You're a terrible person.
My next one on the list, and we are on number 6, 5?
Very professional.
Well, it doesn't really matter. People are just here to listen. My next one on the list is Metroid Prime. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a fair amount of GameCube games on here, and Metroid Prime was the reason I got the GameCube. I can still remember walking to the toy store because, we didn't have a game store, and I looked around for Metroid Prime. I couldn't see it, and I was almost going to walk out of there with nothing, but then I saw it. It was placed amongst the PlayStation games. The woman that ran that store was a bitch. But I got the game, right? And it was another one of these games that sustains its point all the way through. And it was such a beautiful experience getting to explore this alien world through the eyes of Samus, and I got to truly experience a Metroidvania in 3D. There was so many different creatures, and they all had some kind of bestiary to them. You could read about them. The gameplay was fantastic, the weapons, everything. Again, the secrets available to you, the boss fights, all of it came together to create something fantastic.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Can a game in 2002 be called a Metroidvania when Castlevania came out in 2005?
Huh?
Just curious what they called it between those 3 years.
Are you high right
Have
now?
I broken you?
Yes. Castlevania did not come out in 2005.
I think Curse of Darkness did. I don't know if there's any earlier ones. Oh, there's one in 2003. Did they come out the same year?
There's
No, it's 1 year difference.
Oh my god. Okay. So let's just
Are they older? Holy shit, there's more.
They're on the earliest
This is
Nintendo.
like the Russian nesting dolls of video games. Holy shit, it keeps going.
Yeah, they were on the NES.
God, do you know, I've never looked into this. Holy shit.
You didn't know?
No, honestly, it's one of those genres I've never tapped into, and I'm aware of how stupid I look, but I'm just fascinated now.
Alright, so the earliest game came out in 1986.
There was a 1986?
1986.
Like when World War I happened? Okay, I'm not that dumb.
So, I think that one of the most beloved games in the series is probably Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's where you play as Alucard, Dracula's bastard son or whatever, and you're going through the entire castle in that Metroid style.
Games look awesome. What the... How have I not heard of these?
I'm a little. I'm a little surprised myself, honestly, because I definitely are going to edit this as its own little short. The fact that you don't know about Castlevania blows my mind.
I was memeing it at first, but these games look awesome, actually.
They are. I mean, they absolutely are. And so, Castlevania, together with the Metroid series on the Super Nintendo, really built up this Metroidvania thing.
Oh my god. Look at this. Are you aware of this?
I am aware of this. I don't know
Have
what
you
you're
seen
looking
this?
at.
Look at this.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're looking at Castlevania Lords of Shadow, I believe. And I remember that very specifically because I actually wrote a review on that game and I sent it to a gaming publisher because they were looking for reviewers and never got any response.
And then you turned into a failed niche internet micro celebrity.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't even know when Castlevania released anyway.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. But Lords of Shadow is really worth the play if you want to do
I really
something
want. Look
different.
at that.
Mm.
Are we derailed massively here?
Yeah, we derail. But this is fine because this is Discord with the boys and we don't do anything in a cohesive manner.
That is the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Okay, you're up.
What about it?
No, I'm not talking about your penis. I'm talking, it's your...
I thought you were talking about the continent.
No.
Okay.
Just read your next one.
All right, South Asia. Here we go. Right, let's have a look.
Fuck you.
Dead Space.
Okay, all right. That's actually something on the list that I expected from you, but tell us why.
The lighting, the atmosphere, perfecto, right? And the clever system they had with the vents, with the enemies popping out, it kind of adds a bit of more like dynamic scares. So even if you play it a couple times, you don't necessarily get the kind of the fresh feeling that you got the initial playthrough, but there is something there to be had on a repeat playthrough. I just think, I mean, it's one of those games where it's legendary in its design. Like there's a lot of documentation about how they solve problems. You know, maybe when the tentacle grabs Isaac, how they solve the animations and the kind of aiming mechanics and all of that. And there's a lot of, it's very recorded and there's a lot there to read and learn from. So I think it's a culturally significant game.
The dismemberment mechanic was incredible. Just incredible. I remember playing through it and I was like incredibly scared for the first, I want to say 30 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I kind of got a little strong and I got a little good at the game. But it was still a really great horror atmosphere all the way through. So even though I wasn't jumping out of my seat, I absolutely loved every single second of it.
I mean, people compare it to Alien Isolation sometimes, in the aspect that Isaac felt a little bit too powerful too early on. But I think there's a difference. If there's one enemy, you shouldn't be allowed to fight it, right? It should be cat and mouse.
Yeah.
But if there's multiple enemies, the threat of it should be being overwhelmed, right? Which is what I think Dead Space does a great deal of. You can be fighting one enemy, then out of the vent pops 3 more, and all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed, you're outpositioned, you've been flanked, and that's kind of where Dead Space really sells its horror.
Yeah.
I don't think many games have done that successfully, that whole kind of dynamic ambush.
This is a great point, and we could actually delve into this for hours upon end, but let me just say this. The balancing of a horror game is complicated because unless you have like if you go with the one enemy concept, that's fine, but if you actually have a character that gradually becomes stronger and stronger, then you have to find new and different types of challenges, and these challenges has to hit the difficulty mark just perfect, or else you'll get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, the fear dissipates, right? I probably got really good at the game early on, so I didn't feel the fear, but the freshness of each experience was there. The amount of enemies that they have in that game is perfect. You have first the regular xenomorph. What's it called again?
Oh god, a necromorph.
Necromorph. Yeah, one of the morphs, you know? One of the morphs.
Mighty Morphing Power Rangers. That'd be a hell of a mod. Red Ranger pops out the vent. Red Ranger! Oh my god.
Yeah, that is something. I hopefully somebody will hear this and make that. Um,
Oh jeez.
but you're right. They had the exact amount of enemies that they needed, both in variety and in numbers when you were being overwhelmed. So it just hit the nail on the mark there, and very few horror games managed to do that. I think that came and Resident Evil 4, I believe. And maybe some of the remakes of the earlier Resident Evils.
When did RE4 come out? Do you mean the remake of RE4?
No, I do mean the original RE4. It did that well as well.
Didn't Dead Space come out in 2008? That came out in 2005, didn't it?
Yeah.
I got this one right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you know that there were other Resident Evils before Resident Evil 4?
Do you guys know there's other video games than Minecraft?
That wasn't on my list, but it's on my top 30.
Yeah, I did add it. I took it away.
Same, because I have spent a lot of time on there, but I found Minecraft a little too late, so it doesn't have the powerful nostalgic elements to me.
Do you know one of the disadvantages of being friends with this man is that you will get out of the shower and he'll be like, "Hey, let's go in a Discord call," and then you have to deal with wet hair and a headset. So thanks, Lost.
You're welcome. Now, next on my list is Mario 64.
Okay, yeah, no, I dig it. Okay.
Yeah, this is a classic. I don't think I can say anything that hasn't been said about Mario 64, but no, I can't say anything else. Mario 64, perfect. It's the perfect game.
Do you want to know something interesting about the title of Mario 64?
Tell me.
It's called Mario 64 because it released on the Nintendo 64.
Oh
my god, we are.
That is crazy.
They might come after us for this.
Well,
I played it once in a hospital, and that was it.
You never played Mario 64?
My only experience of it was... So, I had an asthma attack when I was young, went into a hospital, and they wheeled in this massive-ass TV, and I got to play maybe, I don't know, half an hour of it. Really liked it. Never ever came across it again.
Oh
ever.
My god, you can't.
But I know all about it. I've seen loads of speed runs. I've seen all this gameplay. I know all about it. I've never played it beyond those 30 minutes on the cusp of death. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's perfect. I suppose I can tell you that if it wasn't Mario 64, it was probably going to be Super Mario World.
You ever played video games with oxygen tanks strapped to your face? And you haven't lived.
Your turn.
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh, you played that recently as well? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had so much fun with a game. There's nothing else to describe it. I've just never had so much fun with a game. 6 hours of pure adrenaline, and it's fantastic. You can delve into these kind of hack and slash games all you want, but it was unapologetically flamboyant at every turn, and I loved it.
I was about to say that very word, unapologetic. It was on the tip of my tongue. You opened my mouth and you grabbed it, probably with your own tongue.
Yeah, it went on a bit too long and it got a little bit uncomfortable, but it kept going.
Yeah, I
never thought we'd see each other again.
I kept looking into your eyes, man.
I kept crying.
Oh, was I a little rough? I should have let go earlier. Anyways, so, I mean, these games, I thought about putting Metal Gear on here myself. If I had to choose a Metal Gear game, it would probably have been Metal Gear Solid 4. That's my favorite of it. One of the few games that actually have made me tear up a little bit. But I played it myself, and I agree with all of your assessments.
The memes are so fantastic, and it's core to the plot as well. It's really weird how this game got resurrected and never died.
I know.
It's almost. I want to believe that they saw 10 years into the future, but they absolutely did not.
Nanomachine, son.
Played a lot of college ball, you know. Could have gone pro if I didn't join the Navy. He's so good.
Because it's such a goddamn cliche, but you could see your American uncle say something like that.
Games are supposed to be fun. Not always. There can be different mediums. But I think we need to always look out for games that are just unapologetically fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a nice segue into my next one, which is Smash Brothers Melee.
Don't shoot me. I've never played it.
Look, you don't. Did you have a GameCube?
No.
No. Well, look, so it's interesting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 games on my top 10 list were GameCube games here. And Smash Brothers Melee was the first game I bought on the GameCube. It was either that or Luigi's Mansion. But I bought Smash Brothers Melee because I could play with my family, because they were there. And it had tons of unlockable characters, unlockable collectibles, right? And there were so many different ways to play it. I got really damn good as well. I did. I never was much into fighting games until Smash Brothers, but when I got to play Smash Brothers, I loved it, because one of the things I loved most about it was you didn't have all of these difficult button combinations. So in you know, Metal Gear, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter, you have to do like half circles and you have to do it like that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I could never do those things, but in Smash Brothers, it was easy, it was accessible, and it allowed me to practice these things, or practice how good I could be, instead of practicing actually doing the move.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think is it the new Street Fighter game?
Yeah.
That just came out, recently introduced a simple mode
Yeah.
for the controller layout, and a lot of people have connected to it.
Yeah.
I think you make a valid point there about the kind of the lower skill floor for people to come into these games and enjoy them. I think it helps motivate you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I have a question as well.
Okay.
So I've been, as you've been talking about these to help me, I've been looking them up, because obviously I have no reference. But I came across this, right? And I would like to ask, because I've seen your desktop wallpaper. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you design this? Because it looks like something you'd come up with. So like, here's my first school project.
So
it looks like your desktop wallpaper.
So here's what he's showing me right now. I probably could just edit this in, but in case I forget, this is the Super Smash Brothers Melee GameCube box, and it's all of the characters just not even attacking each other, but kind of attacking the floor in the middle.
Or an ant.
Yeah.
Oh, a spider.
Bowser is trying to burn it, Pikachu's running away, and then you see Link coming in there and trying to drive his Master Sword into the beast's back, and Mario is doing a little weird jig. And then there's a bunch of characters on the end there. Yeah, it's not great, but I kind of think it showcases the real point here. You have Link, Mario, Bowser, and Pikachu in the battle, and you can play as these characters. Yeah, I think that's good.
And you missed the key point of all.
What?
Well, it represents what the average player is going to do, where they're just punching thin air.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because nobody has a clue what they're doing.
Well, it's easier to get a clue because it's simple, like the new Street Fighter.
Yeah, it is. I need to try it, actually. Apparently, it's good for newcomers to the series.
I would like to do... I've seen so many videos. There are 2 specific videos that I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at Zangief's super ability, where he goes, "My loyal fans!" That's a big meme right now, and any video with any of the girls, because I'm a little fascinated with the taint.
My only experience of Zangief was in Wreck-It Ralph, where he's like, "Just because you are a bad guy does not mean you have to be bad guy." He's in like some villain support group, and I don't know. That's it. That's my contribution to you.
Are we just ignoring the taint statement then? Yeah. All right. Fair enough. You're up.
Okay. God, fucking hell, the conversations. Right. Okay. Dark Souls 3. It sits third, though. It sits third. It's a great game, but it's not top 2 potential. for me.
Well, you know what? I have something similar. But you tell me, why Dark Souls 3 instead of, let's say, Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2? Or Elden Ring?
What? You're a shitty interviewer. So anyway, what do you think about this? Well, Elden Ring.
Look, man. I'm not really interviewing. We're having a conversation. This is Discord with the boys. This isn't like an official goddamn thing. You didn't even know that we're doing a podcast until I actually called you.
I didn't. You asked me to come on here with a list of top 10 and then proceeded to shit on like half of my suggestions.
No, you had really good games and Bionicle.
Bionicle's fuck it, it's coming back up, you know. Lego just released Lego Tahoe in like 2022. It's coming back up.
Look, okay. Look, Lego, they can do whatever they want, right? This is fine. This is fair. The game itself is a fun experience if
It's a masterpiece.
if you're uneducated in the ways of quality games.
It's a masterpiece.
Dark
And
Souls.
I've eaten too much Bionicle now. I can't stop.
Okay. Why Dark Souls 3?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So I talked about this a little bit yesterday when I was doing the parries and I was going insane. The whole process of like Japanese game development with like Kaizen, you know, improving and kind of cyclic feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you look at a system, you look how you can improve it, you look how you can implement it, and then you go over and over and over. I think it's just compound improvements. You know, it's better than Dark Souls 1 in almost every way. And I think if you have to go from one, you know, there's aspects of the games that you can kind of say, okay, this did it better, that did it better. But I think Dark Souls 3 was the most refined, specifically around gameplay.
I would agree with that, yes.
Yeah, there's no point going any deeper than that. I like the franchise. It's the most refined.
It's not on my top 10 list, however, because we could only choose one game from that franchise. But as far as games go, I think Dark Souls 3 will forever be important to me because it changed my life. It's what I built my YouTube career on, and it's why I'm doing this with you right now.
Can we have a sad violin playing over that?
Because I met you? Yeah, that seems about right.
Because it changed my life. Before Dark Souls 3, I was nothing.
No, I mean, before Dark Souls 3, there's what I was doing. I was writing a comic book, and I was trying to get my theater group off the ground. Now, the thing about the theater group was they all moved to separate locations, which made it a little difficult to do theater with them. And as far as the comic book is concerned, I still want to finish that, but hiring people to draw it is expensive. So
I know you have to pay them. You can't just expect them to take your bribes.
I was thinking I could pay them in exposure, you know?
Please don't expose yourself to anyone else. I've had enough shirtless pictures of you over the years.
It's only
it works on me, but
it's always the same picture though. I send you the same shirtless picture all the time.
I was surprised when I mentioned this. I was surprised how many people had photos of you. Like, hang on.
I have sent that picture to a few people. I don't think any of them were women, though. I
think people have been cancelled for less. It's hilarious. So you just hand them out like trading cards. I can see the Kotaku article, right? With all its grammatical errors right now. Local streamer exposes himself to 50 viewers.
Okay. Well, Dark Souls 3, the best game in the series.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna just that's like a mic drop right there as far as Elden Ring is concerned. We'll move forward, and I will give you this. We are in top 3 now, by the way, if people weren't paying attention. This is top 3. And for me, the next one here is Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. Did you ever play Hitman?
Was that the one on the PS2?
Yes, it's
Yes, I have actually played it.
yes. This is not the new Hitman 2. This is the old Hitman 2. The new Hitman games are really good. In fact, it's some of my favorite games currently. But Hitman 2 was the first time I almost shat myself with tension. I was so on the edge of my seat that if I had moved a millimeter forward, I would have fallen to the ground and couldn't have gotten up. Simple as that. The way that Hitman worked, right, is that you killed people and you took their disguises, and then you didn't have this meter that filled up for being noticed. Instead, it had this heartbeat effect, and the heartbeat would go ka-jung, 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 and you couldn't exactly know whether or not they saw you until they actually did see you. You didn't have this clear line. Instead, you had to panic a bit and then, breathe a sigh of relief or not. In addition to that, the game is just such a fun game. It's such a toy box of excitement. And while the levels in Hitman 2 Silent Assassin obviously does not come close to the standard that we have now on the newer games, the first level of Hitman 2 is so goddamn good, because I remember playing that again and again and again, killing the guy in any way I wanted. I basically managed to find a way to beat the game, or to beat that first level without switching out to a different uniform.
Well, I think it's interesting you picked this one over all the others, because I do remember this. And I think if I remember correctly, I don't think the core gameplay has changed much.
No.
At all. But it seems to be one of those rare examples of a game that really understood what it wanted to do, and then really benefited from the technology in the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
To the point where it still has even more potential. The more crowds you can render, the more objects, the physics engines. It just seems like something that can only continuously improve with technology. It's very, very weird as a kind of video game in that aspect. Not many other games can say that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because you're absolutely right. They did try a few different things. I remember that.
Of course. Yeah.
Hitman Absolution was more of a story-based game where you didn't have these levels, or the levels were there, but they were more kind of like parts of the story, and so you moved through them like just a standard shooter. It wasn't really a...
Yeah, I remember it being the edgy kind of teenage game of the franchise.
Yeah, it kind of was, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't Hitman. And I remember being super disappointed in the game, and then we got to play the new trilogy of games, or Hitman World of Assassinations. I think they all just is considered one big game now.
Yeah, so it's like your rating goes from Hitman 2 Silent Assassin to Shitman Absolution to Hitman Modern Day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's just a lull. Yeah.
All right, your second game, second to last, I believe.
Top 2. Right, let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it's kind of cliche. Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so good. I don't even think it's one of those ones that everyone's done a video essay on. Everyone's delved into it, and I just don't think it even needs it. It's not one of those conversations. It's just good. That's it. It's just good. There's nothing it particularly did better than anything else, but it just had everything it needed.
I think one of the great things about The Witcher 3, and it's something it shares with another new favorite of mine, Baldur's Gate, is that all the quests in the game, they were meaty, There wasn't a standard, "Oh, hi there, stranger. Can you go out in the woods and kill 10 squirrels and come back to me and I will give you a legendary weapon?" There wasn't any of that. I remember finding a guy in the middle of the woods. He had to track down... I don't know if he was tracking down a beast or if he was running away from the village, but it could have been an easy, okay, a beast killed his wife, he couldn't kill the beast, so he pays you, and that could have been it. But in the end, he turned out to be gay, and him and Geralt had this whole conversation about, well, people can see you as a monster in many ways. And I was like, I was not ready to have this deep conversation about how to accept gay people.
I know.
I just wanted to kill a monster, god damn it.
Oh, it's like I mean, I suppose we can spoil it. It's been out for a long time, but the red, what was he called again? The Baron?
Oh yeah, the Baron who
The quest line at the end. If you got the one where you return to the keep and there's a significant tree and it's kind of the major set piece. That was what I would always remember from that game. Though I don't know, tell a lie. Actually, I retract my previous statement. It did do something better than other video games, and it really painted the whole grey aspect of choices.
Yeah.
Even when you think you're doing right, it's not necessarily the right thing. Which is what The Witcher is about, kind of.
Yeah.
It's got the conjunction of spheres and all of that kind of jazz. But I think the morality of it is really the key selling point.
It just shows that in life you can do everything right and it might still end up like shit.
You can do everything right. You can get the best education and you can still end up a niche micro internet celebrity. Let that be a lesson to you.
I hate you.
That's my favorite phrase.
Oh, well, thank you. I will have you know that I'm quite a big deal in a subset of the Elden Ring fandom.
So yeah, a niche internet micro celebrity. You can paint this 1,000 different ways.
Okay, my next game, and this is where I might surprise you a little bit. Demon Souls. Are you surprised?
Depends what you say, but I can understand why.
Yeah, I don't think I will surprise you, to be honest. Demon Souls has all of those classic Souls mechanics, and it follows the formula. It's the most unrefined of the games, you could say, but it was my first experience with any of the Souls games, and I don't think you ever really forget your first. I remembered I bought the game, I bought the special edition because it had a really cool trailer, and I played it for like half an hour, and I absolutely hated it. I despised it. I thought it was shit, but I spent all of this money on it. I couldn't go return it. So I just kept playing, and eventually I grew to love it. I don't remember the in-between though. I just remember hating it and loving it.
I had something similar with Dark Souls 1, all the way up until I got the halberd. And then all of a sudden the game clicked with me. It seems to be a weird thing. I've heard that from a lot of people who've tried these games as well.
Mm.
No one remembers liking it. They just did. Very strange.
I also have a kind of embarrassing story about Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Because right after I get sent to the Nexus, I got stuck in the game for 45 minutes. Because I couldn't figure out how to move on to the next level, right? How am I supposed to get out of the Nexus? I didn't pay attention to them when they were showing me the archstones and you have to go up there and choose a level. I didn't pay attention to that, so I was just running around trying to find a fucking door. Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't know you could upgrade armor in Dark Souls 2, so we're in the same boat.
And you didn't know about the goddamn Castlevania games.
No, it's a different thing.
Yeah, that's even more embarrassing, quite frankly.
Shut up.
Your favorite game, sir?
Yeah, I don't think anybody will ever understand this.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
Battlefield 3.
I don't judge you. But please, go ahead. Yeah, I know. You said 3. Please tell me why, though. Explain yourself.
Do you know, that's the weirdest part, right? Because if you look at first-person shooters, it's not the best.
No.
But mechanically, it has faults, right?
Yeah.
If you look at graphical fidelity, it's not the best either, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what there is about it. I think it was more of a period in my life where I spent the entirety of my summer holiday playing with my friends. I became ridiculously good at it. I played tournaments. I won. I don't know. I think if anything, it's more purely nostalgia. But I just have so many fond memories of it. So many fond memories. And I think it was just I don't know. It was my first experience of a first-person shooter that I enjoyed, and I don't think I think games from there. I think it didn't have a very high skill ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Beyond aiming, and I think games have become so competitive and so focused on making all of these kind of restrictions, and you've got to play it this way to be good, and you've got to do that to be good. And Battlefield 3 was just literally, here is a gun, fuck off. And I thought it was great. And I miss the simplicity of those kind of shooters. I know Call of Duty's there, but that's an arena shooter almost. I don't think there's been a game quite like it. Obviously, you had Battlefield 4, 1 and 5, but then it's kind of changed for the worst, I think.
Yeah, no, I understand. I have a very similar feeling with Battlefield 2, because that's where I kind of got into it. I think that with the age difference, that makes sense. I had the same thing. I played a lot of Battlefield 2. Battlefield 2 was my first time.
Oh, I played it too.
I played it. It was the first time I played with like 64 people, right? It was like 32, and that was insane to me. There exists 64 people to play this game, and
64 people in the world?
Yeah. It was extraordinary, and I can still remember. I got the game a little early because this was a little bit before they got super angry about giving out games early, right?
Yeah, retail embargoes, stuff like that.
And I remember just parachuting down on top of a crane, sniping people. I remember killing people with the what's the thing called? The clear.
Oh god, the rocket launcher or the defibrillator?
The defib, yeah, exactly.
One of the two.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh jeez.
So, yeah, I agree with you. There is just something about that game that really harkens back to a period in my life that I can really get into. How did you play? How did you play not Dark Souls 3, Battlefield 3? Was it with friends, alone?
It used to be with it started by just playing random lobbies because I was really addicted to this kind of organic frontline combat that it had. The kind of focal points in the map were designed in such a way where you had to attack it from a perimeter and then breach in, right?
Yeah.
And it was great because it created these this kind of organic front line where you had to really break through and take the objective, and I thought it was fantastic. But then I really got hooked on this squad rush mode. So I think it was 4v4. I can't remember correctly. It was 4v4 where you had to take a single objective, and you really had to spread out your team in an effective way. You had to hold choke points, you had to hold avenues, and it was really... I've never seen anything like it since, where you have to really communicate about holding down lines, because if you were good enough, no one's getting past you. So it's purely just 1v1, or it could be a 2v1, but if you had the right position, you could take them both out, and it was just... I don't know. Maybe it's because I was younger and I had more imagination, but yeah, I've not had that much enjoyment from something except for maybe Battlefield 1 with the atmosphere. But
and the spreadsheet that you made.
Yeah, and that stupid spreadsheet I made over COVID. Everybody had a COVID project, and mine was that silly spreadsheet. I don't even know where it is anymore.
Could you tell people what the spreadsheet is about?
I spent 3 months categorizing every single weapon, stat, spread, damage, drop off, and the standard deviation for such, to rank them mathematically correctly, if that's even a phrase, for one video, which is a good video. But yeah, I think that was my COVID project.
My number one game is Persona 4 Golden.
I am shook. That is not what I expected to hear from you.
What did you think?
I don't know, honestly. Maybe some kind of niche horror game or something. I didn't expect that.
Persona 4 Golden is, the sequel to Persona 3. That's not very difficult to figure out.
Numbers work, yes.
Numbers, man. Persona 3 was perhaps one of the last games that I kind of found organically. I had the PSP Go, There was nothing to play on the PSP Go, really, so I just looked through the library and it was like, oh, okay, there's a Persona game that seems to be like a JRPG. I don't know. I'll just buy this. It has some interesting monsters. It could be cool. I didn't know what I was in for. Persona 3 really married storytelling with gameplay. It had all of these really well-written characters. It had an intriguing mystery. And it really married character arcs with gameplay, because the more you got to know your characters, you had to choose which characters to talk to every day. And if you leveled up your connections, your social links, you would get stronger personas to use in battle. And so it gave an incentive to get to know these characters, as well as to, not just because they were well written, but it also had a reward. And Persona 3 was pretty damn fantastic, but Persona 4 hit me with every single character. Every single character in that game was somebody that I wanted to get to know. It's one of the few games that have made me fucking cry. It was one of the few games that it has multiple endings, secret endings. It also has a mystery. In Persona 4, suddenly a lot of people start dying, and you have to figure out why, and then you can enter the TV, and the killer has the ability to enter the TV, and all of the different characters that you meet throughout is so cool. And you can, when you go on summer vacation with these characters, it's almost like I felt like they were all becoming my friends, and it was an amazing experience. And I also played this on the PS Vita. I had that, which was a giant waste of money, with the exception of Persona 4 Golden, which is now available on Steam. But it was such a beautiful slice of life. All of the characters were written in a very believable way, and when it was over, it was over, and it felt such a nice. There was so much nice closure there. Dude, I can't say enough good things about Persona 4 Golden. It's something that everybody should play.
Well, you've made a great point there about the kind of marriage between storytelling and gameplay. It seems to be kind of, they're different in most games, aren't they? They don't really have any impact on each other. It's more just a progressional reward in some aspect. Finish this, get a cutscene.
Yeah, if I was to write a video, if I was to write an essay or a thesis on video games and art, then I think Persona 4 would, or the entire Persona series really, but Persona 4 would be my go-to example of how to do it correctly.
That was really eloquently put. I'm impressed.
Penis!
Can you do me a favor, though?
What?
Can you say TV again?
TV.
I love the way you say TV.
Why?
Because you put so much emphasis on it. You're like, TV.